Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this Guided Imagery for Menopause series, where today is the last session of the 4 webinars hosted this month. It's been such an eye-opening experience learning how this meditation practice can help us during this time of need. And I'm really sad that this is the last one, but happy to say that we have all 4 sessions, the recordings available for you to view on demand on our Positive Health website. So you can catch what you missed or perhaps revisit for extra support when needed. That can be found at positivehealth.com/webinars. In this session today, we will be spending time taking a deeper dive into our inner selves, and then we'll look at how the power of guided imagery can help us stay strong and resilient during this time of change. My name is Kim Fancher, and I will be your host today. We here at Positive Health are so honored to be able to bring experts in to share some really great information on menopause topics like this one that are important to you. Jane Ehrman, a mind, body, medicine, and behavioral health specialist, is back with us today to guide us through this topic of menopause and a healthy mindset. Hi, Jane. How's it going?
I'm doing well. I'm glad to be here, Kim.
Well, thank you for being here again. We really appreciate all the time and energy you have put into supporting this effort.
I'm delighted to do it. All right, shall we get started?
Sounds good.
Okay, so we're going to talk about how to create a healthy mindset. We've talked about dealing with the physical symptoms of menopause and the emotional challenges with it. But how do we change the way we move forward and live and our mindset about menopause? And so I want to start with this picture of the banyan tree in Maui. It's a famous tree. It's actually like 150 years old. And you may be aware that in 2023, when Maui had a catastrophic wildfire, this tree burned. And they really wondered if it would somehow rejuvenate, come back after this. This tree is as wide as a city block and 60 feet high. That's a gorgeous, gorgeous tree. And this is what it looked like after the wildfires were stopped. That's pretty catastrophic. And I put this on here. That's a pretty extreme picture to relate to of how many people may feel going through menopause, just burned out, don't quite know what to do, not feeling anything about the way they used to feel, and how do they move forward. So let's use that today as a little guidepost. When we're going through puberty, we're working to discover who and where we are, how we want to be in the world, a lot of unknowns. Menopause is the other end of that, but at the same time, we have a better idea of who we are and what we want to be and do in the world around us. But now we have these challenges that are part of our development moving forward to help us move through with grace. And so we are discovering more about ourselves at this point and how we want to move through the world going forward with this, bringing our life experience and wisdom and insight into this process of change. So keep that in mind as we move forward here. So I want to show you this video and pay attention to how you feel as the video progresses. It is true. We see the world in the way we feel. Notice how you felt at the beginning of that video. I don't know about you, but I was shallow breathing and I could feel the tension of the chaos of all these things happening and shifting from this scene to that scene. And then when the music changed, I literally took a deep breath and settled down. And did you notice that for yourself? Just how something like the sound of music behind and something like, Canon D can make a difference. So be aware as we move through this that how we perceive things makes a big difference. Your attitude makes a big difference. What kind of attitude do you bring to different experiences in your day, in your life, within yourself? So here's something about the power of our perceptions. Words. No one talks to us more than we talk to ourselves. Have you ever really paid attention to what you say to yourself? A lot of it's negative. A lot of it's degrading and rude. If we talk to our friends, we talk to ourselves most of the time, we wouldn't have any friends. And what we think and say to ourselves, we begin to believe. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you keep saying, when I travel on that highway, it's awful, and no matter what the weather is, doesn't matter if there's a lot of traffic on it or not, it's just an awful highway. You begin to believe that. And no matter what the circumstances are, you start to tense up getting on that highway for no good reason, but you have continued to say it to yourself to the point of believing it. So how do you speak to yourself and to others about menopause? Frankly, these are some quotes from different clients that I've worked with who have had the challenge of coming through menopause and were really struggling. My stupid brain fog. Or another said, I have the attention span of a gnat. I'm fat and ugly now. Terrible things. If you said that to someone, they would be hurt. They would feel insulted, and they certainly wouldn't want to have lunch with you today. So just notice how our perceptions are about ourselves and the impact they have on us. Heart Math Institute has done an amazing amount of research and continues to do it. And one of the things they've come to recognize in their research is the electromagnetic field of your heart. The energy of your heart radiates 4.5 feet in diameter. I say this because when you walk into a room, you immediately start to feel the energy there. Is the energy happy and positive and inviting, encouraging? Or when you walk in, does it feel heavy and tight and uncomfortable, tense? You've been in many situations where you've noticed what the energy is like. You can feel the energy of other people. We bump into each other's energy fields all the time. In an office building, which I used to have my private practice some time ago, down the hall, there was a note on the door to another office, another company, that says, pay attention to the kind of energy you're bringing in here. You're responsible for that. And I thought, wow, isn't that the truth? And I wonder what kind of energy is going in and out of there that they've had to put that sign up. It's important to recognize what kind of energy is coming off of you. What are you radiating? If you're in a foul mood, others feel that. They may not know why or what's going on. They may think it's about them, but they feel it. And when you come into a space with other people and you're radiating a positive, grounded, confident energy, they feel that too. So be aware of the kind of energy you're radiating and aware of what's going on around you. You don't have to take in other people's energy all the time. Sometimes it's better to leave it out here, appreciate what's happening, but leave it out here so that you can be in your energy space. Bodies change. Have you figured that one out yet? I think we understand that probably really well on an intellectual level. On an emotional level, especially with the way our cultures um, evaluate and talk about bodies, value bodies, that can be a problem. Bodies do change, though. And as your body is changing, as you're moving through this part of your life journey, how are you dealing with that? What is your attitude about that? What did you learn growing up about menopause? Here are some of the things different cultures have said about menopause. It's the curse, it's the change of life, it's a hopeless age, the dread. And yet others have said freedom and renewal, a natural change. And in fact, in Japan, they don't even have a word for menopause. It's called, what are you talking about? It's part of life. It's just how things are. It's okay. So maybe there are some other words that you've had connected with menopause. Be aware of that. And how do those words impact your attitude? I remember I came into menopause early because I'd had breast cancer at the age of 37. The chemotherapy I was taking forced me into menopause early. And at a family gathering, sitting around a table with all my aunts and my mom, I said something about, man, these hot flashes are brutal. I thought they were going to choke on their cigarettes, that I even said out loud, hot flash. Like, we don't, one of my aunts said, Janie, we don't talk about that. It was like, why not? So we have different generations that are closed about it and more open about it and curious about it. Notice where you are with that. So there's a great book called Immunity to Change, How to Overcome and Unlock the Potential in Yourself and Your Organization. It's really focused more toward businesses, but the truth is Robert Keegan wrote this book out of 25 years of research showing how our mental development, our mind develops and develops greater in different levels. First level is the socialized mind. This is what we start out with. We make our choices based on other people's values, opinions, and beliefs. Growing up, the grown-ups around us, what did they believe? What were their political beliefs? What were their religious beliefs? What did they believe about how women and men should do things, or kinds of careers? What did you learn at home, at school, or a church, synagogue, or mosque? What did you learn about what your values? That's what we start out with. That's how we begin. And then we hit the second level. And the self-authoring mind recognizes others' opinions and choosing what you value and believe. Once we start to move out into the world through school or moving out on our own and experiencing others, having experiences where what you're told to believe growing up doesn't fit with your life experience. Something simple like Santa Claus. As little kids, you may have been taught that there's a Santa Claus that brings the toys. As you get older, what you come to understand is Santa Claus is a symbol for learning generosity in giving to others, in sharing what you have, in celebration of family, of beliefs, that it's different. And as we move on and grow up, we start to have our own rituals, our own values about things. You may have been taught growing up that, you can't become this or that career-wise because you're a girl or because you live in this kind of a culture. And your life experiences now bring that to question. And when you question and change in this level, the self-authoring mind, you're deciding on your values. It may push up against what you were taught by your family, by your culture, and you may get some pushback. And some people never get past that. They have a difficult time thinking and changing for what works and what they believe on their own. There's a third level of mind, self-transforming mind. This is the highest level of mind development. This is when you've made some changes in what you believe and what your values are. And then you realize, wow, I need to tweak those a little bit because of new information, because of what you have learned or what you've experienced. You may have thought, well, eating healthier, eating fewer red meats and those kinds of things are better for my health. But every now and then, even with a kind of health condition I have, it's really okay. And then you read some information that is evidence-based, educational, research information that says, given your situation and your health issue, that's not good enough, that even sometimes in your situation, it's not a good idea to have red meat. That's just an example, but you can make it for some other things where you've realized this is what I believe, but now that I have new information, it's important for me to change that. This is it's an important part of mind development, adjusting to information we learn and making new changes. So, how do you want to go through menopause? You want to go through it kicking and screaming, or with grace and open to the possibilities? I invite you to go with grace and open to the possibilities. And today, I'm going to give you an opportunity to create for yourself how you want to move through this part of your life journey. It's important to understand how behaviors develop. They start with thoughts. And our thoughts trigger emotions, feelings, and that drives our behaviors. And oftentimes, we're unconscious about that. We're not even realizing what we're thinking and how that affects the way we feel and how we behave, how we self-soothe if it's stressful, or how we move forward when it's an irritation or it's something that we want. These are important things to be aware of. So this is how emotional memory and the brain works. Your brain goes into overdrive with stress. Most of us, we see a puppy and we go, oh, isn't that cute? The frontal lobe says that's cute. The amygdala, which is smoke detector in your brain, says, no, everything's fine. But if you've had a bad experience with a dog, any dog you see can trigger a fear, a threat, and immediately the message goes to your adrenal glands to send out the cortisol to run like crazy, fight like heck, or freeze in that situation. Even though that dog it's a great dog, it's on a leash, walking on the sidewalk with its owner, and you're in a car driving by. You're completely safe, but this has already happened because you were wired for that because of a bad experience that you have focused on and reawakened time and time again. Okay, it takes a while then for the frontal lobe to say to the amygdala, hey, we're cool, we're in the car, we drove by, that's a cute dog, I'm safe. But it's too late because the cortisol's already been dumped into your bloodstream. Sometimes it's the people in our lives, like this guy from Office, from the sitcom Office. Just seeing those people in our lives, automatically we hit the stress hormone and go into stress overdrive. However, when you practice calming techniques, this is the brain's preferred state of mind, peace and calm. And it takes about 3 weeks, so 4 or 5 times a week, 15 minutes or so of meditation, practicing being in that state of peace and calm to rewire your brain so that the frontal lobe gets the information as whatever your perceptions are about a situation. And before the amygdala can kick out any stress hormones, it lets you know that you're okay. We've got this. Breathe, calm down. Everything's fine. So this is what you can look forward to when you practice meditation. So neuroplasticity, it's about changing your brain and the way it's wired. If you want to change your life, you have to change your mind. That means you can change the story in your head. We have lots of stories in our heads about ourselves, about others, about the world. And some of them are pretty darn distorted and unhelpful. This today is about changing what you think, what you believe, to some healthier ways, more effective ways of moving through life. One of them is through affirmations. Affirmations are short, concise, positive statements, how you want to think, feel, and act. They're not happening right now, okay? But they're those kinds of statements. They're in the present tense. You say, I do, I am, I love, I always, I choose, not I will, that's somewhere out in the ether. I can. I can means you're able to do it. Doesn't mean you will, but you're able to do it. So it's not present tense, active uh, state. And at the moment, they're not true. Saying them repeatedly over time, they become the way you think, feel, and act. So I remember working with a patient in my prior work who was not eating healthy breakfasts at all and wanted to make that change. And one of the things I suggested is that she say, I enjoy eating a healthy breakfast. And she looked at me and said, no, I don't. I said, I know you don't. But when you begin to say that to yourself and listen to what you're saying, I enjoy eating a healthy breakfast, you bring that kind of an attitude to breakfast. It took her a bit to get her head around that, to saying it. But we know that when you practice this and even handwrite them 15 times, each statement, each positive affirmation helps lock it into your body mind and helps it to you more effectively to live it out. There's good research on that. Remember when you were a little kid, you might have been from a generation where you had to write 100 times, I will not be late to class, or I will be quiet in class, whatever it was. And you just hated the fact that you had to write those out. But actually, it did do something for your mind and help you make that change. And so they're positive statements. They need to be positive, because if I say to you, don't think of pink elephants, what are you thinking about? Pink elephants. The mind doesn't process negatives quite as well. If you say to a little child, don't touch that, they automatically want to touch it. So you say what you want. Put your hands here. Keep your hands together. Focus on this. Use positives. Here are some samples of affirmations that you might want to use. I learn from my experiences and choices. Rather than look at your experience and choices, especially if they've been less than the best, as terrible, they're life lessons. I focus on progress rather than perfection. So our progress is often 2 steps forward and 1 step back. It's a little dance, but that's normal, actually. So that's one to consider. I focus on the goodness in my life. I breathe and release unhelpful inner dialogue. Telling yourself that, you'll find that you start to do that in those situations. I automatically take a deep breath and exhale the stress. I am worth the time and energy to be well. I think that's a really good one for all of us to say and write for ourselves. So, one of the things that you'll have the opportunity to do in our guided meditation today is to create for yourself a way you want to move through your day in a healthy way, generally. Part of it is staying present. Get out of your head. Be present in the moment with what's going on within you and around you. Breathing deeply and often keeps oxygen in the brain so you can respond your best. Know when you're dealing with other people, what's your stuff and your energy and what's somebody else's. What's theirs to deal with, let them deal with. And what's yours, own it and deal with it. Too often we take on other people's stuff, and that's unnecessary and in fact unhelpful. So along with that, being the gatekeeper of your energy, remember that slide of the electromagnetic field of your heart and how you radiate energy and others feel it, and you feel other people's energy? We come into contact from time to time with people who are very negative and upset, and it's important to keep their energy out here. It's unnecessary to take it in. Sometimes we get hit with it before we've even realized it. Breathe and let that stuff go. When you keep it out here, you can appreciate what someone's going through and understand it and have compassion for them. But it's unhelpful for you to feel all their stuff. That's unhelpful empathy. Empathy, when you're slammed with other people's energy, is a bad boundary. Stay in your own shoes. Stay in your gifts and graces and skills so that you can respond appropriately. Release as you go. Release as you go other people's stuff, what's unhelpful in you, and set healthy boundaries. That's really, really important. So with that, there's good research about how to get to sleep at night and how to change to being more positive, having better energy, releasing depression. It's called 3 Good Things Today. We've talked about this in some previous sessions, but before you go to bed, write down 3 good things that happened today. Just a sentence or two. This isn't about doing a dissertation. Just a sentence or two. Something good. I had a wonderful conversation with so-and-so. And that conversation, I felt grateful. I felt happy to connect with them. I felt lighthearted in our interaction. Sometimes it's more than one emotion that you experience. And allow yourself to just feel that for a moment. Write down 3 things like that. This came out of research at Duke Medical Center when Dr. Sexton did this with his doctors and nurses who were kind of on the edge of burnout. And just for 2 weeks, they found doing this that they started actually falling asleep better, sleeping better at night, having a better mood, looking forward to what am I going to write down today? Recognizing, hey, that was a great experience today. I'm going to write about that tonight. And that sometimes you don't feel like you had anything. Did you wake up today? Do you have food in the refrigerator? Do you have clothes on? Roof over your head? That's more than 3 things. So there's much to be grateful for, often that we have taken for granted. I encourage you to do that. Okay, in a moment, we're going to go through a guided meditation, and I invite you to get yourself settled and comfortable and be open to how we can move through in this guided meditation and release what isn't helpful in the way you've believed about this part of your life, this part of your journey, and what you say to yourself that's unhelpful, and how you want to change and move through your day more effectively, more positively. So get yourself set. There'll be some music for you to listen to, and I'll guide you through a meditation for yourself.
Sit or lie down in a comfortable position with your feet and legs uncrossed. Gently close your eyes or lower and soften your gaze. You're invited to set your intentions for today's session. Privately, you can tell yourself, "My intention today is to take the path within myself to a special healing place in my inner world. A place perhaps in nature where I feel peaceful and calm. There, I create a container for myself to release unhelpful thoughts, stuck feelings, and energy that no longer serves me. And I create a positive way to move through my day. In this session, I welcome insight and information that supports me throughout this part of my life journey. Now, you're invited to bring your attention to your breath. Breathe normally, comfortably, in and out of your nose. Your body has its own rhythm of breathing. Simply let each breath come and go naturally, purposefully moving from breath to breath, and get more settled and comfortable. The mind naturally wanders, so anytime you notice your mind wandering, simply refocus to your breath without judgment. As you continue to breathe comfortably, imagine stepping onto your path that leads you to your special healing place. It's a gentle sloping path that's smooth and easy to navigate. As you move along the path at your own pace, you move closer to the quiet stillness within. Let the feel and sense of your physical surroundings fade off into the distance for a little while as you move closer to the quiet stillness, getting more settled and comfortable as you go. As you travel along your path, up ahead there's an open gate. On the other side is your special healing place. As you reach the gate, take a cleansing breath. Then go through the gate to your special healing place. And when you get there, with your senses, notice your surroundings. Where are you? It may be a place you know and have been to, or it may be a new place. Take in your surroundings, the scenery around you. Notice the time of day and what the temperature feels like here. You may notice the sounds of nature around you and how the air here smells and feels. Perhaps there's a freshness or fragrance in the air. If you haven't already, choose a place here to stretch out and just be. Be here as fully as you wish, taking it all in. notice how you feel being here. Maybe you feel comfortable, peaceful, calmer. Just notice. Being in this positive energy is healing to your body, mind, and spirit. It contributes to your wellness. This is your special healing place, a place just for you to tap into peace and calm, a place to relax deeply, to feel more comfortable and restore your energy. You're invited to imagine a good-sized, sturdy container with a tight-fitting lid. Perhaps a container like a dumpster or trash can, or some other kind of container. Your container is limitless in what it can hold, regardless of how big it is on the outside. And it's compostable. What you put in this container is transformed into something positive. This container is for unhelpful thoughts, uncomfortable feelings, feelings you may have been repressing for some time, and old, unhelpful, untrue beliefs that get in the way of your truth and inner power. You can clear out just as much of this as you choose. It's up to you. You can always go back and clear out more later. Also, you never put people in this container. Now, take some moments and choose any unhelpful thoughts, maybe about your body, your life, thoughts that no longer serve you. Put them in your container. You can breathe them in, throw them in, speak them out loud, whatever feels right for you. Now, release uncomfortable emotions that keep you from living your best life. Perhaps feelings about the changes in your body, changes in your life, and any uncomfortable, stuck emotions, sadness, irritability, anger, frustration, worry. Now, where do you feel that uncomfortable energy in your body? Front of your body, the back of your body. Some you may feel all over. You can breathe it into your container. Or you could stand on the edges of your container and let it pour off you. Or throw it in. It's your imagination. Release it into your container in whatever ways you choose that feel right for you. Now take some moments and connect with the old beliefs that you've been taught or heard and took into yourself. Untruths about this time in your life. Any beliefs that get in the way of living your life authentically. Now, notice how you feel physically. And how you feel emotionally. Having released these things into your container. How do you feel in your life force energy, having done some clearing? You may notice feeling lighter, more spacious, calmer, more at peace. That's how you know you have cleared things out. You can go back to this place and your container on your own and continue clearing out more. For now, having released what you chose, close the lid. And you can tell yourself in its own time and in its own way, my container will transform what I released into something positive. It is no longer of any use to me. You always fill the cleared spaces with positive energy, positive thoughts and beliefs. So take some moments and decide how you choose to approach and move through this time in your life. The kinds of qualities from which you choose to live. Perhaps more centered, grounded, and purposeful. Living from self-compassion, good sense of humor, inner strength, forgiveness, empowered, living from your best self, more confident, caring, peaceful, calm, more connected to yourself, meeting your self-care needs. Imagine taking these and any other qualities you choose and fill yourself. Breathe them in. Let them soak into you with warmth and sunshine or whatever works for you. Take some moments and simply rest in all of this positive energy and all of these qualities that you've chosen to soak into yourself. You're invited to take a moment and decide what beliefs and truths that you'll take with you into your daily life to help you live your best life. You can tell yourself that your container is always available to you, always there just off to the side in your imagination. Use it often to clear away what no longer serves you. Now, you're invited to take some moments and rehearse how you choose to move through your day in general terms. Being mindful and present in the moment. Connected to yourself, aware of your energy, aware of what you're thinking, feeling, and believing. Recognizing what gets in the way of responding from your best self. And making necessary adjustments. Moving through your day, being the gatekeeper of your energy. Aware of the kind of energy that you're radiating. And aware of any other person's energy, and determining whether or not to take any of it in. As you move through your day, connecting with others, aware of their energy, recognizing in your interactions what is yours and what isn't. Having healthy boundaries. Living from gratitude and grace. And now you're invited to take in some affirmations. As they are spoken, take some moments to allow them to resonate with you. You can tell yourself, I make choices that are best for my health and my needs. I naturally gravitate to what is good and healthy for me. I make positive changes with confidence and enthusiasm. I recognize self-limiting thoughts and beliefs for what they are. I refocus and create helpful, life-giving thoughts and beliefs for a better life. I stand in my gentle power and decide what is best for my health and life. I learn from my experiences and choices, and I continue to progress. I focus on the goodness in my life. I breathe and release inner dialogue that undermines my best choices. I automatically take a deep breath and release stress. I am worth the time and energy to be well. The more I tell myself these affirmations, the more they become a natural part of me and my way of living. Now, before heading back to the gate and your path back, you are invited to take a moment and decide when and how often you will come back here on your own for self-care. This place is always available to you, like a screensaver at the back of your mind, just a thought and breath away. A place for you to come for release, comfort, healing, and to renew your energy. You are invited to privately thank this place for its gifts to you today. And as you journey back through the gate to your path, bring with you insights and information from your inner work today. As you walk on the path back to your outer world, become aware of the place that your body is resting and the room you're in. More wider awake and refreshed. Take a good cleansing breath and slowly wiggle your fingers and toes. Gently stretch, clear-headed, alert and refreshed. Gently open your eyes.
As the music finishes out, this is that banyan tree after the fires were gone and it began to regenerate. Much different than the burned out one that you saw. That's what I envision for you and hope for you. That as you move through this part of your journey, you can recognize where you want to go with freedom to make the changes and grow in ways that you're ready to grow. So that someday, perhaps, you're back to not your old self, but a new, enlivened, vital self. There's a great book, The Anatomy of Hope, that Dr. Jerome Groopman wrote. He's an oncologist. He said, and this is a paraphrase, hope is looking at your situation realistically and finding a way through. So with that, I welcome your questions and comments.
Well, thank you, Jane, for this great presentation and practice. You really provided some wonderful tips on helping us manage our own perceptions as our mind, bodies, and spirits change during the menopause journey. And this really helps me personally feel that I can be as strong and resilient as that banyan tree.
Yes.
A question that we have here is, what are some ways to remind ourselves to tap into this practice?
Sometimes that's a great question. Sometimes people think, well, I'd like to do this practice, but I can't find the time. You won't find the time. It won't fall like manna from the sky. It's really about making space for it. And people ask, what is the best time to do this kind of practice? I say the time that you will do it. So if the morning is a quiet time, then do it then. If middle of the day or lunchtime, you can step away for 10 minutes or so, do it then. But leave yourself Post-it notes where you want to remind yourself to do these kinds of things, or even a little blue office dot, a place to remind yourself to breathe can be helpful.
So you mentioned 10 minutes, but what is the shortest period of time for a guided imagery break to make a difference?
Honestly, Kim, if you take even a minute to just step away mentally and imagine a peaceful, calm place and breathe into it and allow yourself to experience it as deeply as you wish, it will make a difference. Obviously, the longer a time stretch that you can do that makes it more effective. About 15-20 minutes is ideal to really practice, and doing it 4 or 5 times a week over the course of 3 weeks or more will help to rewire the brain.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can all find that time. Is it okay to, kind of create our own perfect world as a safe escape from whatever we may be facing that's difficult to deal with?
Absolutely. Do that. Step away mentally in whatever way you can for however long you're able to, and allow yourself to clear away what needs to go and rejuvenate. To the mind, everything is real. It cannot tell the difference between what you're experiencing in real time and what you're imagining. It believes all of it. So that's the good, bad, and the ugly. The good news is you can create something positive and beautiful and calming, which is important. Or, oftentimes left to our own devices, we're creating a catastrophe in our heads, and that's the bad and the ugly. So yes, take yourself off to a beautiful, perfect place. Whether it's possible or not, who cares?
That sounds wonderful. Well, thank you again, Jane. And if you'd like to go to the next slide, we just want to share some information with folks. We hope that you can join us for more webinars in the future. We have a lot of more topics to cover related to menopause. And, we here at Positive Health are leveraging the power of webinars and podcasts to build that awareness on many important menopause-related topics. And coming up, we have tomorrow, our mindfulness mentor, Skylar Grissel, be joining us. And she's going to be talking about yoga nidra meditation. So feel free to join in on that. And then in August, our key topic is herbal medicine. So we have a wonderful speaker, Dr. Kay, to come in and talk to us about how that can help with our menopause journey. All these webinars can be found at positivehealth.com/webinars, where you can enroll and get the information you need to join those webinars. And then we also have our podcast series. And in July here, we had our a podcast centered around Ayurveda and helping us to be centered, grounded, and joyful. And here on the positivehealth.com/podcast site, you'll see this and all the other previous podcasts that have been released and anything new coming up. And you can also find them out on your favorite channels, Amazon, Apple, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Then we also would like to invite you to become a member of Positive Health. We have a wonderful program that's offering a holistic, one-stop digital health experience supporting your body, mind, and spirit during the menopause journey. And from now until December 31st, it is free. So feel free to go out to positivehealth.com site and look for that join button to look into our membership. And then finally, I'd like to mention we also have a wonderful menopause journey community where we have people who are chiming in with some resources to help one another and listen to each other, whether you're laughing or crying or just, bending an ear to hear what others have to say. That can be a great way to help get through this time of change and be that strong, resilient person you want to be. So you can go out to our positivehealth.com website and look for the information to join the community, or you can email us at info@positivehealth.com. Well, I want to thank you all, and Jane, especially you. You've been such a delight to have as part of our webinar series, and to be able to do this 4 weeks in a row with us and provide all this wonderful information and all the different meditation practices that you have shared each and every time. It's just been truly beneficial to me, I know, and I'm sure to others as well. So thank you so very much.
You're welcome, Kim, and thank you for having me. I've truly enjoyed doing this series with you.
All right. Well, until next time, take care. Goodbye.
You too. Be well.